Hello everyone. The second generation games stand out for their rich regions, being the only Pokemon experience to date, including their remakes, that features a post-game filled with new gym leaders. Unfortunately, the game's difficulty curve isn't very steep, which is great for our current series because the Kanto gym leaders have relatively weak teams, especially compared to the very easy Pokemon Gold and Silver League. As a result, we'll try to challenge the league with each Kanto gym leader and compare their potential to defeat the 5 expert trainers in the game. Why not choose them in the order of their official appearance in the iconic games, starting with Brock from Pewter City and ending with
Warning. The following sentence contains spoilers about the 8th Kanto gym leader in Pokemon Blue, Red, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. If you've been stuck in a time loop for the past 20 years, please play the game before continuing.
Blue and Giovanni. So, we'll take on the role of Ash's companion from the anime, but in the Gold and Silver versions. He seems to lack any knowledge of the trading system, as his key Pokemon never evolved to their final stages. However, he has exploited the fossils from Mount Moon. Here's his team. Graveler is his lead, with both of its stab moves. It's a shame it's not a Golem. Another ground and rock Pokemon is Rhyhorn in its first evolution stage. It's too slow to use Horn Drill effectively, and its special defense is quite poor, but it hits hard. Then comes Omastar and Kabutops, 2 water and rock type fossils, meaning, as some of you pointed out in the comments on the previous video, a quadruple weakness to grass type moves for all his Pokemon. This should already give you an idea of when our trio's journey will end, either in the league or against Red. Moreover, the last Pokemon is Onix, making the team incomplete and again with a quadruple weakness to water for 3 of its members. None of them have decent special defense, so even fire attacks, which they resist too, will still hurt. Let's start the challenge against the first league trainer, Good Old Will. For this match, the key word is luck. He starts with a Xatu, which can confuse us immediately. Our next moves depend on a roll of the dice, which we lose from the first turn. We can manage to get 1 attack in, but not before taking a hefty psychic hit. Fortunately, our attack one-shots the bird Pokemon. However, Will has Pokemon with advantageous types against us, and his first is Exeggutor. Switching to this Pokemon risks a 2 HKO, which we can't afford with our Pokemon, so we stay with Graveler to deal any potential damage. It's futile, and the Palm Tree finishes us off. We call in Omastar, mainly because it has a move that became Dark-type in the second generation, Bite. It's a 2-shot, and since the move is special, it works well with Omastar's higher special attack. Even though we might miss Reflect for the rest of the battle, we manage to finish it off. Slowbro is next, and it has many moves to boost itself. It's a good opportunity for us to keep hitting, as even though it's defensively strong, after 4 hits, the Pokemon falls. Another Xatu comes in to bombard us with another Psychic, which we fortunately endure. This gives us a chance to bite again before being KO'd mentally. That's fine. We know a rock move, and although Xatu is faster, we finish it off with a rock throw. Only 1 Pokemon remains, and it's no less than Jinx. Its Ice Punch is decisive, and we logically succumb. For revenge, we choose Kabutops, and its Slash is chosen to cut Game Freak's controversial Pokemon into pieces. Finally, the luck played out in our favor, and we have disposed of the first member of the Elite Four, who congratulates us. He opens the door to the next gym leader, and I take this opportunity to greet the viewers of the premiere on YouTube. As soon as I post a video, it is broadcast live, and it's a great way to discuss the video while it's happening. So I invite you to activate the bell so you don't miss the next one. The next member is Koga, who has many poison-type Pokemon, so he should be easier, especially for our Earthquake-wielding Pokemon. Our Graveler knows this move, which deals serious damage to Ariados. However, it knows a coverage move, a Grass-type attack we don't want to see in this challenge. We survive with very low HP, but our second attack is powerful enough to finish off the Poison-type Pokemon despite its recovery. Graveler's days seem numbered against the next Pokemon, Forretress, but thanks to a critical hit with Earthquake, it's already lost half its HP. A Swift finishes us off, but we can then send in Onix. Oops, it doesn't know any ground moves, making it less useful than expected, and we limit the damage by sending in Rhyhorn. It can deal good damage to Forretress, but alas, it can't finish off the Steel Bug. As a result, Forretress sacrifices itself with Explosion, which also crits. Our Rhyhorn is already gone, and we call back Onix. It works out since Koga's next Pokemon is Venomoth, with a Bug type weak to our Rock move, but its Psychic attack is decisive, and we lose Onix on the Moth's second move. It's time for Omastar to shine, and even though it gets poisoned, our Surf can defeat Koga's third Pokemon. Mook is summoned, and we continue with our Surf spree, but it uses Minimize. Unfortunately, we don't have Stomp, so our Surfs start to miss, even though we need at least 2 to finish it off. As we are poisoned, our HP drops rapidly, which is bad news, and in a last-ditch effort, we bring Mook's HP into the red. Next turn, Omastar is no more, and Kabutops takes over. The first Slash hits, dashing Mook's hopes of defeating us. Koga's final Pokemon is Crobat, which we'll have to slash to hope for victory. It evades, and then we attack. A critical hit, excellent, but it doesn't 2-HKO. Next turn, it poisons us and we keep slashing. And again, we land a critical hit that finishes it. It was a range hit, relying on luck again, but we triumphed over the former gym leader. It's the calm before the storm, since the next trainer, who is supposed to be the weakest of the Elite Four in Pokemon Red and Blue, specializes in fighting types, which is completely against our favor. Nevertheless, Bruno welcomes us with his Hitmontop, which has the annoying habit of starting the battle with Dig. Few moves can hit a Pokemon underground, and Earthquake is one of them, so we manage to KO the first Pokemon with a situational move combo. Even better, when Hitmonlee enters, it can hit us with Double Kick, which is quite nice for a level 20 Pokemon, but not in the league. So our Earthquake can also finish it off, leaving us with 5 Pokemon against 3, an advantage we'll need. The third dojo fighter, Hitmonchan, is called to avenge his fallen brothers. We switch quickly to Kabutops, who can tank the expected Ice Punch, and we start sending waves to the Boxer, who doesn't falter and hits us with priority punches. He hits before us, so we can't put him out of action. Time for Lord Helix, who can finish the wounded beast and welcome the Judoka's signature Pokemon. Machamp is formidable, especially with Cross Chop, which can potentially one-shot all our Pokemon. Indeed, that's the move that takes down our Fossil after it dealt some minor damage. Onix is next, and this is where the battle becomes a roller coaster of luck and misfortune, as we miss a Rock Slide, then take a Cross Chop that puts us in our place. Our Rock Slides then start landing, and either Machamp misses its move or it gets flinched. Bruno takes this as provocation and heals his Pokemon, making us start over. Eventually, after a small series of damage, he finishes us, and it's time to call in Graveler. Not that we have many choices. A Cross Chop finishes it, and so Rhyhorn must achieve the impossible. At this moment, Machamp uses a Rock move because it's out of PP for Cross Chop. Finally, some good news. Moreover, our Earthquake lands, which was a bit unexpected, and it puts us in a position to win the fight. What's the final Pokemon? It's an Onix, and the battle involves sending Earthquakes at each other until one of us dies. Onix is faster, but we are blessed by Lord Helix when we hang on with 1 GP. That's enough to finish the fight and earn access to the 4th room. It was no walk in the park, especially with Machamp, who on a good day could breakfast on our entire team. But we made it through, and we're going to face Karen and her predominantly Dark-type Pokemon. The battle starts with Umbreon, as usual, and we don't waste any time launching Earthquakes right away, which failed due to confusion. Classic Umbreon battle. The chaos from this defensively strategic and frustrating Pokemon prevents us from attacking multiple times and hits us with Feint Attack, a move our Pokemon hate. We managed to land 2 Earthquakes on it, which is almost an achievement given the circumstances, but it eventually takes us down. Kabutops is sent out to finish off the evolution, but the real threat of the opponent's team enters the field. A bold Vileplume is ready for battle, and we need to weaken it as much as possible since this Pokemon can sweep our team. So we hit it with a Slash, which lands a critical hit and deals good damage. But its Wrath is terrible, and it starts a Petal Dance, which one-shots us, of course. Omastar is fairly fast, so we'll use it to prevent Vileplume from making too big a hole in our team, and its Bite scares the opponent's Pokemon, which is good because a second one might finish it off. First threat dealt with few before facing Gengar, which is no walk in the park either. Bite turns out to be the best move to take it down, especially since it curses us, forcing a Pokemon switch if we don't want to lose a quarter of our HP each turn. But the temptation is too great not to hit Houndoom, which just entered the field with a Big Surf, one-shotting it. When we KO a Pokemon, the curse doesn't activate, so we've caught up in this battle, since we're on a good streak, and Murkrow is the last Pokemon. We'll prolong the pleasure with Lord Helix, who can take down the bird of ill omen in one go. History is written by the victors, and our success against the 4th member of the Elite Four deserves a grand display before facing the ultimate champion, Lance. Rock against flying-type Pokemon. This should work, right? The battle begins against Gyarados, and we won't sacrifice our Graveler, so we switch to Omastar, who can tank a hit. Its Bite is quite ineffective, but once it faints, we can send in Kabutops, who can tank an attack and also hit harder. We just have to hope for a critical hit. Gyarados' Surf's hurt, but after 3 hits, a critical Slash finally lands, and we've defeated the Sea Serpent, albeit with difficulty. But we're not out of surprises, as the real Dragon Dance begins with the entry of Dragonite 1. Unsurprisingly, we learn it's the one with the electric move, and it one-shots us without mercy. Enter Graveler with its interesting rock moves. We send out a Rock Slide, bringing Dragonite into the red. We won't finish it with the same move and start a series of rollouts which, if chained, could lead us to victory. The first Dragonite falls, while the second misses its attack right from the start, allowing us to lower its HP into the red. Will we succeed in our rollout streak? Dragonite's next next attack brings us back to reality, and we fall to its blizzard. We send out Onyx in a good position to finish it, but it gets replaced by a new, younger, and stronger Dragonite, ending any hope of victory. Onyx has enormous defense, the highest among our Pokemon, yet it cannot tank an outrage from the pseudo-legendary Pokemon. Naturally, the rest of the team gets swept, and the challenge ends there, especially since this wasn't the first attempt. No, Brock couldn't become the champion with his gold and silver team. Paradoxically, it wasn't a grass or water move that caused trouble, but a physical attack that can destroy all our Pokemon, with no means to counter this flying-type Pokemon. A surprising twist, but it prevents us from climbing Mount Silver to face Red. I hope you enjoyed this new video, and that you're not too disappointed by its rather tragic outcome for our rock trainer. But hey, if there were no way to lose these challenges, they would be less interesting. See you soon for the next video. Don't miss the premiere, and subscribe. Ciao!